Hey guys, today I'm going to be filming one of my favorite videos, and that is a book list. And specifically I want to talk about the read alouds that we are hoping to read in the next school year. Now, if you followed me online at all in our homeschooling journey over the last 5 years, one thing that you may have heard me say time and time again is that I am terrible at reading aloud. Like, I'm so bad at it. I read so fast and I stumble over my words pretty much just like I talk, honestly. So I find reading aloud really hard. But one way that I have found to get over that is to listen to a ton of audiobooks. So honestly, when I say read aloud, only one of these books on this list am I actually planning on reading myself to my kids. The rest of them are just going to be audiobooks, which we generally listen to at meal times. We have a Bluetooth speaker that we love and we've used this for years, and it goes for months without needing to be charged. It's amazing. So we use that and we listen to our book. It's kind of like nice because it also reduces some of the lunchtime chatter that can happen, because I'm around my kids all the time. I hear them talk all the time, and I feel like lunchtime they get even chattier, so sometimes it's nice just to like have a little break and just listen to a book. So I'm going to talk about the first book here first. This is the one that I'm going to be reading aloud to them. This is Absolutely Truly. Now, if you've been following my videos for the last few months, I totally wanted to read this to them a few months ago and we never got around to it. This, to my knowledge, well, it's a Pumpkin Falls mystery. So I own book 1 and book 2. I can't remember what book 2 is called. I would love to be able to read both of these to them this year. All I know is that it's set somewhere in the States and there's some kind of mystery. I just bought these off of Book Outlet, I think like last year, and we haven't read them yet because our library doesn't have access to them on audio, and whenever there's not an audiobook available, it's harder for us to get to them. So I just need to like set aside time to actually read this book to them. Okay, now the rest of the books, we own a few of them, and then the rest I went onto my library Libby app, and we're going to be listening to them on audio. But even the ones that we own physical copies of, we're going to be listening to on audio. And a reread for us this year is going to be The Mysterious Benedict Society. We listened to this probably 3 years ago. I think we listened to books 1, 2, and 3, and now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a prequel. I don't know if we're going to listen to the entire series or we're just going to start it, but when I was doing my vision planning with my kids using my vision planner, one of the books that my son mentioned that he would like to re-listen to is The Mysterious Benedict Society, so we're going to start with it. This is about 4 kids who are, they're all like orphans, and they all reply to this ad in the newspaper, and they're randomly chosen for something that they don't really know. They end up being part of the Mysterious Benedict Society. It's all very like mysterious. I mean, I guess it's in the title. But yeah, we really enjoyed this a few years ago, and I think now that especially my son he's 8 this year, I think he's going to get a lot more of it and enjoy it even more. Then every year pretty much we like to listen to 1 or 2 of the books in the Christian Hero series. We get these on actually the Hoopla app from our library. They don't have all of them. So John Williams is one that we own that we have never read. I don't know specifically if we're going to be reading this one. Personally, our favorites have been George Mueller, Ida Scudder, Lillian Trasher, and Amy Carmichael. Those have been some of our favorites. Oh, and Nate Saint. But yeah, I would like to get to John Williams since we have the book, but we haven't actually read the book, listened to the audio yet. So there's that one. Then, actually, we just barely started this week listening to Wingfeather Tales. So it's part of the Wingfeather saga. Well, it's just kind of like a bunch of stories about the world. And so far, I'm remembering how much I loved like the humor of the series. So it has a bunch of different stories written by different people. Actually, they're not all written by Andrew Peterson, but the first story that we're listening to right now is, and yeah, we're loving it. And then also my kids would like to actually re-listen to the entire series. So we bought these on audio. When we originally bought them, they were only available on christianaudio.com, and I don't know if, now they're all on Audible as well, I don't know if it's the same, but there's a different narrator for the first 2 books, and then Andrew Peterson narrates the other 2 himself. And Andrew Peterson is a better narrator, but this guy that does the first ones isn't terrible, but they pronounce words differently, so it's weird to listen to a word said one way for 2 books and then changed for 2 books. Anyway, this is a story about 3 siblings who live in a world where there are fangs and they're kind of called to, I kind of like rise up and fight in a way. It's a very interesting fantasy world that he has created. There are fangs, there are toothy cows, and Andrew Peterson, he is a Christian music artist, and he's a songwriter, and he writes books, and he does drawings. So this is his toothy cow. Yeah, we all loved just being immersed in this in this whole world. So it'll be nice to listen to this one. Now, I do not think we will get to all of the books on my list because I have created quite a long list. So I'm going to go right into my Libby app. I tagged a bunch of books as read alouds, and this is what I want us to potentially get to. This is kind of like when we finish a book, I'm going to look at this list and pick one from it. So kind of whatever suits our fancy at the time. So one of them I have is Rescue by Jennifer A. Nielsen. I have really enjoyed the books that I've read by her. And this one is about Meg's father left their home in France to fight for the Allies in World War II. And that was the last time she saw him. All she has left of him are the codes he placed in a jar for her to decipher, an affectionate game the two of them shared. But the codes are running low, and soon there'll be nothing left of Papa for Meg to hold on to at all. So we don't do a ton of historical fiction normally in our read alouds, and that's something I would like to change. Now that my kids are getting a little bit older, I think it'd be nice to incorporate more of that. So there's that one. Then there's Echo Mountain, and honestly, this is just because of the cover. I don't know anything about it. It's by Lauren, where's the author here? Lauren Wolk. I own a book by her, but I haven't even read it. So this is, after losing almost everything in the Great Depression, Ellie's family is forced to leave their home in town and start over in the untamed wilderness of nearby Echo Mountain. Ooh, this kind of sounds fun. She's found a welcome freedom and a love for the natural world in her new life on the mountain. But there is little joy after a terrible accident leaves her father in a coma. An accident unfairly blamed on Ellie. Okay, so I thought that was going to be like fun, and then it kind of like got really serious. So there's that. Then a fantasy one that sounds really good is Amari and the Night Brothers. I think I've heard good things about this. This came out at the beginning of this year, and I have it on my list that I would like to read, but it would be even cooler if we could read it together. Amari Peters has never stopped believing her missing brother Quentin is alive, not even when the police told her otherwise, or when she got in trouble for standing up to bullies who said he was gone for good. I don't like to read like the whole description of books, but I think this is a fantasy series, so, well, judging from the cover, it definitely is. So there's that one. And then another reread is The Wild Robot. I'm not 100% sure about this. I think my son has listened to it recently, so maybe we won't. But it's been a few years since I listened to it, and we never read book 2, The Wild Robot Returns, which the story is just about a robot who, like, I guess her package gets, it falls off of does it fall off a ship or an airplane or something? She ends up in the wild and, like, learning the wild as a robot. It was a kind of fun little story. Then one that I've heard Sarah Mackenzie talk about a lot on Read Aloud Revival is Father and I Were Ranchers, and I think this is kind of like Little House on the Prairie-esque, but for boys, or like with more of a male focus. So I was curious about this one. It says the Moody family moved from New Hampshire to a Colorado ranch. So there's not much for a description here, but I think that might be interesting. And then one of my friends told me about this one. It's Gregor the Overlander. 11-year-old Gregor follows his little sister through a grate in the laundry room of their New York apartment. He hurtles into the dark underland beneath the city. There, humans live uneasily beside giant spiders, bats, cockroaches, and rats, but their fragile peace is about to fall apart. He wants no part of the conflict between creepy creatures. He just wants to find his way home. But when he discovers that a strange prophecy foretells a role for him in the Underland's uncertain future, he realizes it might not be the only way to solve the biggest mystery of his life. Yeah. So, I mean, that is quite a few books. Oh, and I have actually 2 more to add. I forgot. Just this morning, I was watching Erin from the Eclectic Homeschooler do a list of their favorite read-alouds from the last year, which reminds me, maybe I should do a video of that too. I might do that video coming up soon. And she mentioned this book, something about Benjamin Pratt. Head over to her video and hear her explain it. But it's by Andrew Clements, who wrote Frindle, and he writes kind of like funny books, and she said this is like, I think she said mysterious and adventure or something like that. So I thought that one sounded interesting, so I'm adding that to our list. but our library doesn't have it on audio, unfortunately, so we'll see. And then I recommended to her in the comments of that video that they do The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte and Meddlestone. That is like a fun middle grade book that's kind of ridiculous and kind of fun. It's just a lot of fun. And then I saw that the author has a new book out called The Whispering Wars. It's a spellbinding tale of unlikely friendship, unexpected magic, and competitive athletics. So yeah, I have no idea. But her other one was a lot of fun, so I think this one probably will be too. And there we go. So that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books. And when some of these are series, so we might do like more than that. Yeah, so we'll see if we get to all of them, but those are some of the books that I would like to get to in this next year. If you have a list of books that you are reading for the upcoming school year, I would love to hear them. Maybe it will give me some more suggestions and just add to our list. And thanks for watching, guys.